All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Gridiron Uncensored podcast. We see about 9 people in right now, so that's cool. We appreciate you guys joining.
Yes,
we got a live reaction to the top 25 from the College Football Playoff Committee, and then we're going to, after that, move into our rivalry week breakdown. It's always hard for me to say. I don't know. I'm an idiot, I guess.
Rivalry.
I just can't do it. Yeah. Hey, listen. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. All right, let's pull up, Trevor, if you will, the rankings, because we'll jump right up into this. What are your feelings on it? Do you have any immediate reactions? Army's dropped out, so that takes one, top 25 win away from the Notre Dame team, but they still moved up. Doesn't matter. They moved up to number 5. Miami's hanging up there at 6. SMU, they're moving up. So what are you guys feeling on these rankings?
For me, I really still think that Boise State should have been in front of Indiana. It's just my thought on that is I think Indiana should have fell all the way to 12. I think Clemson should be in front of Indiana. I think Boise should be in front of Indiana. That's just my thought process. I don't think they should be outside of the top 12, but I think they should be at the very tail end of it.
Yeah, Blake, what about you?
I'm actually all right with how they've got the top 12, because I think those teams are most likely to make the playoff. The only one I'm not sure about is SMU. It's how that conference ends up shaping up. But the way they've got it structured, just my opinion, if you're not going to have the top seed, it just really doesn't matter to me, like that 5 through 12, as long as you're in. I think it's just numerical at that point.
It's a matchup game at that point. Yeah. Like you're trying to match up well, or you're trying to get the ranking that matches you up best with whatever team that would be your counterpart to that game. So that's where those rankings really do matter. Yeah. Because if you get a matchup, if you're SMU, but you get a matchup against Miami, that would be more favorable for SMU, in my opinion, than if they were to go up against Notre Dame or say Tennessee or Georgia, for that matter.
Yeah, at that point, Blake, it's just, do you get the home field advantage, the home playoff game? That's the biggest. That's the biggest thing. And so like, I don't mind the rankings so much. I still would have Notre Dame further back personally, just because I still judge that Northern Illinois lost significantly, but they have looked solid. I will say that they've come on since then. Give credit to the staff for not letting that game kill them.
No,
but it just, no.
No, the hell with them.
It's still Irish, man. I don't know, but either way, whatever. That's where they're sitting at. They can't get a top 4 slot. We all know that. We all should know the rules at this point. Curious, how this all is going to play out, especially for the Big 12. You could see Arizona State maybe jump up. If they win the conference championship, they might jump up in the top, 12 there, and maybe knock Boise State back out of that number 4 seed, because right now I believe they would be in the number 4 slot for conference champions and getting the bye. Talking about Boise State, so that one's I think the most interesting point. And then the other one would be the SEC championship game. What happens if Texas wins this weekend, but then they go out and beat Georgia, or they go out and lose to Georgia? Do they get knocked back pretty far? Do they fall out? I don't think that would be an issue. What happens if Texas A&M wins this weekend and then beats Georgia, in the SEC championship? There's a lot of chaos that can still happen. It's just it's going to be all coming down to this rivalry weekend. I said it right there. Did I not? Did I
don't know, man. I think you're still feeling the effects from the lemon. I'm just
Hey, listen, that lemon got me, man. I was like convulsed.
Inquiring minds want to know, are you okay?
Yes,
because you were rosy, man. You were really rosy.
Listen, I think I'm allergic to the whiskey. I don't know, babe, but
allergic to the whiskey. Oh, don't say that.
No, I know. Don't tell my wife. But no, I don't know what's happening with that. But I feel fine. All is well. The lemon did me well. No scurvy, according to the comments on Twitter. But anything else on the rankings, guys? Iowa State's interesting. Tulane jumping up into 17. There is a scenario that I've seen that the Big 12 may not even get in, depending on how the tiebreakers go. You could see Tulane, if they win their conference championship, Boise wins theirs, you might see both of them in the playoffs over a Big 12 team, and that would be something. Okay, I mean, that people would be pissed.
That would be something. I would love it. Hey. I love the chaos. Bring it on.
There's going to
be a lot of it.
Yeah,
I live it. I'm here for it all. I'm here for it all.
Of the 3 SEC lost teams, like you're looking at Alabama, Ole Miss, South Carolina. I personally would not mind South Carolina being above Alabama or Ole Miss. I know that they beat both of them, but they're not taking losses like Ole Miss and Alabama are either. They're not getting. Yeah. I mean, I know Ole Miss beat South Carolina kind of handily earlier, but Ole Miss taking pretty rough losses. Alabama just got spanked, but they're right on that edge. And when the real rankings here, Alabama can still get in there, and people are going to be furious if that shit happens. Blake,
I've got it. I've got my we'll get to it in a minute, but I've got a chaos scenario in my bracket that I made up. It's not necessarily what I think's going to happen. It's just I just drew up something that I thought would be the most chaotic thing I could come up with a little bit of realism to it.
Yeah.
But I mean, just with a 3-loss team, it's kind of just where everybody's falling. It will depend on like if Tulane can pull that off and what other teams are going to lose, like in the Big 12. Because I mean the Big 12 is in shambles right now. All these teams like that you thought were great, like Iowa State, BYU, they're dropping like flies. The SEC is eating itself alive. The ACC is eating itself alive. I mean, there's like 4 to 5 teams in every conference that could come out on top right now. It's insane.
It is. Trev, if you want to shift over, we'll look at top 25 and then go to those brackets. I mean, ours kind of similar. The change, there's a little bit of change up, in the top, but for the most part, still had Army in there. I think Duke was just on the outside looking in on ours, but again, doesn't matter. That's just what we thought it should be based on our rankings. Trev, next one we get the playoff bracket according to me. This is just what I looked at. Kind of how I think it might shape out. I think SMU is looking really good. I think they could beat Miami to get to that 3 seed, and then Boise State keep winning out. I still feel like if Texas wins this weekend, they lose to Georgia, I still think they get in. Tennessee's in. I think Arizona State is looking like the best team in the Big 12 right now, and we'll see what happens. But that's just my thoughts on it. Probably maybe a more normal scenario. Blake, let's look at yours in the chaos realm because yours has Bama sneaking in, and it's entirely possible. I mean, people they're gonna have to get used to it. It's probably gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, Bama having that third loss, it does make it difficult for them to get in. And as a Bama fan, I don't want to be in the playoffs because I don't like the way our team is structured. I think any of those teams could beat Bama. I mean, could we catch a hot note? Sure, but I don't like the idea of it. That's not what I think the playoffs is for. But I mean, in my scenario here, it's got Georgia winning the SEC. Obviously, it's got Ohio State taking Oregon down in the Big Ten. We've got SMU is going to ultimately lose to Miami. But see, that's where you get into like the chaos of the ACC because where's Clemson going to fall? Like what's going to happen with them? I've got Arizona State sneaking in, Indiana staying up there. I mean, a lot's got to happen for this to happen. Texas, I've got them losing to Georgia in the SEC championship, them beating Texas A&M. I mean, I've seen other scenarios where Tennessee ends up getting into the SEC championship. I mean, if Georgia, I know it's not, or not Georgia. If Texas goes down to Texas A&M, I mean, does Tennessee get into the SEC championship? I don't know.
I think it's locked in now. That
is it locked?
I saw that the winner of this Texas A&M game will go to the title. Last week though, before there was a path, I believe. But yeah, I mean it's there. I don't know. I feel like right now the safest teams are Penn State and Tennessee. Like they're just kind of in limbo. It just depends on where they get seated. And then obviously Ohio State and Oregon.
What if Vandy pulls it off on Tennessee? I mean,
that's very true.
Yeah, this is not a what if. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I'm here for it. I hope it does.
I hope it does because that will start a chain reaction of like crazy madness happening.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know. Questions of Blake in the comments there. What if do you see Ty Simpson getting in? No, it's not going to happen.
I wish it would, but it's not. No.
Yeah, I think you're riding with Milroe, especially if you win this week. You're riding with Milroe. If you lose, go play Simpson in the bowl game. I don't know.
We lost to Vanderbilt. We lost to Oklahoma. We've lost to Tennessee, and they're going to drive this bus off the cliff with him at the driver's seat. Yeah. They've made that abundantly clear. So,
oh Lord. All right, boys. So that's what we got on the talk for the rankings and all that stuff. Honestly, I'm not too shocked in it. Blake, you got something else?
The comment said we misread it. He was saying if Ty Simpson were to start and Bama was a 12 seed, how far would they go?
Oh, okay.
And I don't know because they won't let Ty Simpson play. I can tell you this though. I know where we go with Milroe starting, and that's back to Tuscaloosa as losers. So I like my odds better with Ty Simpson or anybody, Austin Mack, any quarterback. They could pull someone off the sideline, out of the stands, and I would like our odds other than Milroe. anybody but Milroe.
Oh man,
poor damn Alabama. All
this
right,
just in: Milroe has committed for another season at Alabama.
He's coming back.
He's coming back,
That's
baby.
probably what's going to happen because he's tanked his draft stock. So,
I'm not gonna lie, he really has killed his draft stock.
I don't know. I think somebody will still take him, just like they did Anthony Richardson.
I hope so,
but we'll see. I got nothing else on the rankings. Interesting. UNLV getting up there. I like to see that. Missouri 21. I don't know. Nothing really much else to say about it. Let's move on and get into our chaos section of rivalry week. Will it continue? You know, we're looking at, these are the games for our pick 'em. We're going to talk about all these games, going to break them down, but then we're also going to go through talking about group of 5 and then the rest of the conferences as well. Just do a rundown and round robin it. So let's start off. Michigan, Ohio State, obviously the game, biggest rivalry in college football. Argue with the wall. I don't care. It's obviously, look, Michigan's a little rough this year, but it's a rivalry game. Throw everything out the window. Ohio State's number 2 in the country, 21-point favorite. Guys, what do you feel on this game? I'll tell you my thoughts here shortly. Trev, Blake, how you feeling on it?
Go ahead, Blake. I'll go after you on this one.
I know Michigan found a little bit of offense last week, but it was Northwestern. So Ohio State, I think, wins this game. I don't know which Ohio State you're going to get because they've had their struggle bus moments, especially early in games. But I don't know. Michigan just doesn't feel right this year to me. So
I'll tell you what I think is going to end up happening. Ohio State's going to walk in here and throw 2 middle fingers up and just run the score up as much as possible. As much as they possibly can, they are going to do everything they can to run this score up to as much as they can do in 4 quarters. I really truly believe that to my core because that is how they are in general.
They are a salty bunch.
They are the saltiest of people in general.
Ryan Day, he wants to hang 100, and if this is his chance right now, he's going to try.
Yeah, he's going to try and do it for sure. He's going to try and embarrass the entire Michigan faithful, guaranteed.
And listen, if you're Michigan, I know quarterback play has been an issue, but Davis Warren's been better at protecting the ball. He did have an errant throw against Northwestern last week, but if you're Michigan, you've got to lean on that run game. And you've got to try and just dink and dunk down the field, get this shit out quick, and really try to protect yourself from the blitz packages that they have. Because you saw last week against Indiana, Indiana had no answer for the blitz. What will Michigan do offensively with the line, with blocking schemes? I think the running backs for Michigan can probably block better than Indiana's can.
They truly need to go back to the blocking schemes that they had last year.
Yeah.
And they should never have changed them to begin with. And they should have stuck with them. I'm not sure the reasoning or the thought process behind changing the blocking schemes on the offensive line.
Yeah.
But it has been a disaster for the running game.
Let's say until last week, they were finally able to get some movement. And,
but I mean, it was against the. My thing is like I hear you what you're saying, but they haven't really got any traction off of anyone that has a pulse on defense.
I agree. But just similarities between what Ohio State did to Northwestern and what Michigan. I know transit properties don't mean anything in college football, but there's some hope there. Not a lot. Defensively, though, I want to see how Mason Graham and them do against this offensive line for Ohio State. I know still have talent, but they are piecemeal. What will happen there? In the end, I think we're all picking Ohio State to win this game, right, gentlemen?
Unfortunately, so that means there's a chance Michigan wins.
Hey, we have a very bad luck with
there's like this.
Team,
there's something going on.
So we did this on purpose, okay?
Reverse psychology or something.
That's what we got happening on this one. Let's move on. Talk a little bit of Alabama, Auburn. Blake, take lead on it if you want. Alabama is currently 11-point favorites at home. Number 13 team in the college football playoff rankings.
I really don't know where to go with this because, I mean, I know what I would like to see Alabama do. They just won't do it.
Yeah.
I can tell you what we need to do to win the game, and that's just minimize Milroe's throwing and utilize the running backs. We come out, we've struggled offensively passing the ball down the field against good defenses all season. We always come out after the half and we start running it. We're just gashing them 5, 6, 7 yards a carry. We did it against Oklahoma. And it's like, we get a 5-yard run, a 4-yard run. It's 3rd and 1. Let's run Milroe out and lose 7 yards and punt. That's just become like our offensive system. And I hope week to week it changes, yet we just continue to do it. And I think he's going to die on that hill. And if we do that, that plays right into Auburn's, game. They've got a really good defense. They can create a lot of craziness up front. Their front four are actually really good. They've been solid defensively all year, like I said, the last 2 weeks. And I mean, I really don't like the matchup here. I'm taking Alabama just because I would cheer for Hamas before I picked Auburn. I did that. I did cheer for them against Texas A&M because Texas A&M is part Saudi, Hamas, whatever. I mean, they're all the same.
Funding terrorists. They're funding terrorists.
They fund terrorists. So I did pick Auburn against A&M, but typically I am pro anybody over Auburn. So I will go for Alabama here, but I don't like the pick. And you can read our Substack article on Alabama, and that explains more in depth why.
Yeah, mentioning Substack real quick. That's just it's a place where you can read articles, and it's almost like you can do tweets and stuff like that. But a solid place, and that's where we have a Michigan and Alabama blog that we put up weekly. So keep an eye out for the rivalry week preview very soon. Trevor, what are your thoughts on the Bama and Auburn game here?
What are my thoughts about Bama and Auburn? Interesting. All I know is that I actually, believe it or not, I'm actually going to agree with Jacob here for a moment and say that if the teams show up the way they did last week, it will be an Auburn win, 100%. Doesn't matter where it's being played at. If the teams that showed up last week show up again this week with no real changes, which I really am not confident in the coaching staff for Bama to be able to put together a game plan that's actually successful. I'm not confident at all. So I'm going to be very curious and very interested to watch the first quarter to see what they're coming out with out of the gate, because they came out of the gate last week with all the QB runs and all that bullshit. And it was exactly that. It was a bunch of bullshit. It was a lackadaisical effort by the coaching staff and the offense in general to execute at a high level. And if they come out against Auburn like that on a rivalry game, I just think that it's just going to be bad news in Tuscaloosa. And DeBoer in his first season might actually get something thrown at him.
Like a shoe. I
or Nick Saban doll or something. I don't know.
Just some random
just some random doll.
Some freak out there has got that. I'm sure they actually do. But yeah, when it comes down to this game, Blake had mentioned, who would you pick, Peyton Thorne or Jalen Milroe? My initial reaction, Milroe. But when you look at the stats this year, I mean, Peyton Thorne's actually putting together a decent year. I mean, he's still inaccurate a lot at times, and
he's way more efficient though. He's been way more efficient.
Yeah, he does. He's able to do some things. I don't know, man. So Trevor, real quick, you went with Auburn, right?
I still am gonna pick Bama, but like I said, that first quarter is going to be a telltale sign on how the game's going to go. But I think I'm going to still stick with Bama on this one, just because they're at home. And even with how I said last week that I think Auburn's the most improved, doesn't mean that I think they are the most consistent. And I just think that overall, I think Bama's talent might outshine them a little bit in this one.
Yeah, I think I'm going with Bama too for it being at home. I do feel like maybe I hate to say he got caught, napping or whatever against Oklahoma. They're prepping for the Iron Bowl. You got to win this game. first year, for DeBoer. This is a circle game. You have to win this. So maybe they got caught, looking. Maybe they thought they could just run all over them with Milroe, talking about Oklahoma. So I'm going to go with Bama on this one. I feel like they'll find a way late, but it's going to be stupid. These games always get just straight dumb. Let's move on. Talk South Carolina, Clemson. Big game with potential playoff implications in it. Clemson's 2.5-point favorites last I looked, and the new number 12 team facing the number 15 team. What do you guys feel on this one? South Carolina's been on a tear. Sellers, I think he's getting a little bit more confident. What are you guys feeling on this one?
Klubnik's going to club himself in the face after facing that South Carolina defense. So, I mean, I honestly think the South Carolina defense is gonna take it to him, and I really think that this is I'm going to say probably a touchdown game in South Carolina's favor. I love what South Carolina's been doing on defense this entire season. They've done a really good job, and it really pains me to say that. I really don't like their freaking coach.
Preseason, you
really hate that.
Yeah, you went in on Beamer.
I don't like that guy at all.
You went in on Beamer, bro. You went after him. And honestly, this is gotta be a hard one for you to pick because you can't stand Klubnik. You can't stand.
I can't stand Klubnik. I think he's the most overrated damn quarterback in all of NCAA football. Like, my God, that dude is he's so pedestrian. So
there's that word, man. I haven't heard that word.
Haven't done it all season, really. Yeah,
well,
Drake back out.
Drake not here for you to call it. But yeah,
who are you riding with? I just think South Carolina by a touchdown. It will probably be, I would say somewhere in the 24-31, somewhere in that range.
Yeah,
of like 55 to 57 points, somewhere in there.
Cool, I got you.
Yeah, I like South Carolina's defense in the game, but Clemson, they've got a good pass rush as well. And Sellers, though he is better than Milroe by light years, but
yeah,
he struggles a little bit too when he gets put under pressure. And I feel like Klubnik edges out Sellers in quarterback, and Clemson being at home, I'm going to go with Clemson to win the game. But I mean, I do think it's going to be a tight one, and I'm rooting for South Carolina. I really think Clemson's going to edge them out a little bit. I don't know that offensively South Carolina is going to be able to score enough.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Just looking at Clemson and how their season's played out. I mean, the ACC's kind of fallen apart with Pitt. There was a close game against Pitt. Virginia Tech, they lost to Louisville, which just lost to Stanford. I mean, it's just I don't really know what to think about these teams. But I do know for a fact that South Carolina's defense has been rolling, and they're able to do some squirrely shit on offense at times. They've improved a bit there when I didn't really trust them for a while this season. So I bet against them. I'm going with them this time. I'm taking South Carolina, and they might sneak into the playoffs, boys. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Who knows? But we're going to find out. All right, next one up, Louisville, Kentucky. Kind of battle of mid here, boys, or worse than mid. But it's a rivalry game. Last year, Louisville, they had everything going for them, and they still lost the damn game to a bad Kentucky team. What will happen this time?
Well, they're both bad, so I'm just gonna pick Louisville because I like their jerseys. I guess I don't know.
Oh, hey, I'm usually the jersey guy. I haven't really leaned on that this year.
I don't know. You've definitely steered clear from it, but in this particular case, I honestly don't like either one of these teams, so they can't really tie. I mean, I suppose they could if they really tried, but yeah, I think it's going to be Louisville, even though I think there's a very, very good chance that Kentucky wins this. But really, it's kind of a coin flip for me on this particular game.
I mean, Blake?
I'm going to go Kentucky. I think defensively, they've been in a lot of tight games. They beat Ole Miss. They held Texas fairly well. Georgia. I mean, Kentucky, if they can just get over their offensive woes, they're a decent team, and they can pull
Yeah.
a win like this off. I'm gonna go with them just because of the defense.
Yeah.
So you're riding with Kentucky, and I think I'm going to go with it too, because I looked at they finally Vandegrift's done. They benched
he's
him.
out.
They brought in Boley, and
Much better.
When he got put in last weekend, I thought he did fairly well in the situation that he was thrown into. 10 of 18 for 160. He did throw a pick, but it's something. It's better than what was going on. And then on top of that, just Louisville just has that vibe about him that I know Colton hates that word vibe, but they have that vibe that it's gonna.
They're vibing, baby.
Even though I like Shug at quarterback, and I feel Kentucky's gonna sneak this one out, and it's just gonna keep it going for them in this rivalry, and Louisville is gonna just wonder what the hell happened this season. But that's where I'm leaning, gents. Let's look at the next one. Big game. One of the biggest in recent memory for, really any of these programs. Texas A&M. This is a huge game. Rekindling the hatred and the fire. The shit talk's been great all year. Texas A&M almost blew it. I mean, they're still ranked, but I even forgot to put the number sign next to their name because of that loss that they had to Auburn. But listen, top 20 matchup. Who do you guys have in this game? Texas is 5.5-point favorites.
Daddy's going to win. So Texas will take this one by 3 touchdowns.
God dang.
Oh, God.
God dang, son. You going big, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just from that quote makes me want to go A&M, because that scares me. Trevor getting that confident worries me. I'm going to go Texas too. I've said all year, I feel like A&M defensively, they're just not that good. They've struggled. And, like I've said the past 3 weeks, everybody just goes off of the LSU game for A&M and Missouri. I'm just not with it. I think Texas wins.
I agree. Earlier, when Wigman came back in and he had that big game against Missouri, I was like, oh, man, they've turned a corner. Like, that's the guy that we should have seen against Notre Dame. But he reverted back to himself. Missouri's defense horrible. And that's another story talking about Missouri. Even Marcel Reed, he's got moments where he does good things, but it's just not enough to get them over that hump. And then defensively, again, they have a strong defensive front, but they tackling issues, getting gashed. So yeah, I think Texas is going to win, but I know Ewers is out, right? So that's something to watch. But Arch Manning did fine when he came in. So
I feel like Texas offense operates better under Arch Manning.
I've heard that a lot.
Just from what I saw, Ewers is a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's not, but Manning just really seems to stretch the field, and Ewers doesn't, to me. A lot of the plays when Arch played were those pretty deep balls, and I just didn't see that out of Ewers a lot. So,
no, I hear you. I think they're going to be just fine, and that's why I'm riding with Texas too. Yep. But I think it's going to be close to that spread. Honestly, they haven't really been tested since they played Georgia, and I think this might at least give some to them. But we'll see. Farmageddon next, gentlemen. Kansas State, Iowa State, top 25 battle there. Iowa State's 2.5-point favorites. How are you feeling on this game? I know where we at. What?
Well, no, I'm just like, whatever. I mean,
he's like,
it's Iowa State against nobody.
Oh,
I don't even understand.
He's on the whiskey tonight, boy. There he is. It's going to be cold and rough, just like his heart. Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord. No, the Iowa State's clearly the better team in this matchup, and there's really no
The comments are great. Yes.
I'm sorry.
I'll just write it down.
I tried to get through it with a straight face.
I'm just going to write it down. Iowa State, right?
Iowa State. I can't. I'm just going to giggle my way through it.
Oh
Nah,
my God.
I like the mangy cats. The run game is just going to be too much. Iowa State struggles against that.
Yeah, it's tough because I picked Iowa State to win this the conference preseason, and then they let me down, man. But I'm giving them one more chance. I do think they pull this one out. But I do worry about the run game, like you said, Giddens and stuff. Avery Johnson, if he can get it going, they might win by 10 points. But I feel like Iowa State's going to get this figured out. They're going to let it fly, and they're going to get the win. So that's who I'm rocking with. I forgot to write down yours. You picked Kansas State. All right. So let's move on. Another group of 5 matchup, big one here. And again, we're going to talk about the conferences as we move along. But this is just our pick 'em and the breakdowns of the biggest games that we think is out there. Tulane, Memphis. We circled this one in the preseason, coming down to 2 of the best teams we thought in the group of 5. And sure enough, here it is. But Tulane, 14.5-point favorites here. Number 17 in the country. They got a lot riding on this win. Are they going to get it done, boys?
I circled Memphis. I picked Memphis. I picked them to be one of the best group of 5 teams going into the season, and I'm just going to keep riding with them. I know that they are steep underdogs, and rightfully so, because Tulane has had a really great season. But I think that at home, I think Memphis it's going to be really close. I mean, we're talking like field goal, easy.
Yeah.
If it's going to be a game, it will be a close one. And I think that Memphis Tigers squeeze this one out last minute of the fourth quarter.
This game is Trap City. I mean, it is a trap game through and through. But I think Tulane's going to roll right through it. I think they're hot, and I'm going to play the hot hand, and I'm going to roll with Tulane.
Yep. Yeah, I look at this game, and Mensah's been playing nicely, but Hennigan's been playing really good for Memphis as well. Mm-hmm. Both solid rushing attacks. I think this is going to be a barn burner, honestly. I think these boys are going to throw up some points. Looking at the over-under on that, it's 56. Seems maybe a little low. I don't know. Maybe I'm not a betting man, so don't like bet money on what I'm saying, but I'd probably go over. I don't know. I think that Tulane has all this pressure right now, and I think they're going to stand up to it. They were close with the group of 5 or with the Power 4 teams that they played earlier. I thought they might have gotten screwed against Kansas State earlier in the year, but I don't want to. God damn. Sorry, the comments.
No, I was laughing at the Memphis comment right above it.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Not necessarily wrong. You ever driven through Memphis? God dang, sorry about blew out the mic. Blake, by the way, you picked Memphis, right?
No, I picked Tulane.
You picked Tulane, my bad. All right, only me. I got sidetracked. I'm going Tulane. I think they're going to go through it. I think it's going to be close, so I think they'll cover the spread being in Memphis. So that's what I'm feeling. Moving on to the next one. We've got Georgia Tech versus Georgia. Georgia's kind of been looking squirrely lately, but they're still a strong team. 19.5-point favorites. They should get the win, right?
Rightfully so. It's Georgia all the way. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is a puncher's chance of Georgia Tech doing something, but only in the first half. Right? But only in the first half. They will not be able to sustain with the depth of Georgia.
I mean, Kentucky did, and
that is not Georgia.
I think I would say Georgia Tech's a better team than Kentucky. And Kentucky almost beat Georgia. So I mean,
don't know, man.
I mean, there's a chance, and I'm not picking.
I didn't say there wasn't a chance.
Well,
I'm picking Georgia. Are you picking Georgia?
I picked Georgia too, but it's a Friday night game.
Yeah, and, it's a little interesting.
Georgia Tech,
yeah,
if you look into Georgia Tech, they pull upsets on Friday nights.
All right,
that's true.
They blocked a field goal for the win over Florida State, and
I hear you.
I mean, that's what they do. And why is Florida
Everyone
State
wants the upset. Everybody, if Georgia Tech wins, my God, like I need Vandy to win, and I need Georgia Tech to win, and then all hell's going to break loose.
That would be fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean Michigan's out of it, so like I'm rooting for full chaos here.
Yep.
You know?
Full chaos. Full send it. Just send it.
Oh man, you know what? I'm going Georgia.
No, pick Georgia. That way, reverse psychology is hey, maybe.
I'm going UGA. I think they'll be too good in this situation. I don't know if it'll even be close. Maybe a little bit less than the spread, but whatever. Let's talk Tennessee Vandy at Vandy. I don't think Vandy's 2.5 point favorites. I think I fucked that one up. My bad.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that's right. Actually, that looks accurate.
I'm trying to will it to victory. I blew that one. It's 10.5 point favorites in favor of Tennessee.
Vandy? I knew it.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I was told that Tennessee would beat everybody in front of them. On the rankings list, and even though they lost to Arkansas this year, who also lost to Oklahoma State. But either way, let's talk Tennessee, Vanderbilt. What do you guys think on this one? Does Vandy have a chance? They've fallen apart recently.
Yeah, they still have a chance, though.
They absolutely have a chance.
Yeah.
Will it happen?
Tennessee.
Yeah.
I'm cheering for Vandy.
I think Tennessee's going to implode on themselves and start fighting each other. And then the refs will call penalties on Tennessee for once.
Well, that would be nice.
That would be a nice change of pace. I'm just saying.
I do think with Dylan Sampson at running back for Tennessee, that gives them an edge. Vanderbilt, though, they play the big games close. I mean, they beat Bama. They could have beat Texas. I mean, they're not a bad team. Nope. And they get up for games like this. And this is the in-state rival. I mean, they could realistically beat Alabama, Auburn, and Tennessee all in the same season. Yeah. I mean, it's a possibility here. I'm going to pick Tennessee in hopes that I'm wrong, but I am screaming for Vandy because Tennessee's a lot like Auburn for me. I'll cheer for Iraq before I cheer for Tennessee. So I'm rooting for Vanderbilt, I hate Tennessee. I really hate Tennessee.
Yep, Vandy on the win for me.
Remember,
Vandy.
They called you a go
Vandy. Go Commodores. Let's do this.
I mean, I never heard that phrase before until that, but yeah, I think I'm going Vanderbilt. All the haters say, Brendan, you always just pick the favorites. That's what you do. That's why you're so good.
According to the screen, you're doing it again.
That's fake news. Okay, maybe I just know what I'm doing. All right, but I'm going Vanderbilt. All right, where's it? Oh my God, yeah, I'm going Vandy. The comments are wonderful. We appreciate all of our friends and whatever comments on there. It's good shit, boys. Let's keep it rolling though, for the sake of time and our sanity. Quick one, Bama, or excuse me. Wow. I'm all jacked up. It's the lemon coming back up, maybe.
The lemon.
We got UTSA Army. Interesting game here, looking at who's going to play for the AAC. So who you guys got? Army, I believe, is 7-point favorites. Now I'm questioning myself. I need to double check.
I'm picking Army. Let's just go there. Black Knights all the way.
I'm going with the Birds.
Dirty Birds, man.
The Dirty Birds.
Meat. Hey, yes, they are 7-point favorites. I didn't jack that one up. God dang. Army, they screwed it against Notre Dame. UTSA, they've looked solid. McCown's he's been good at quarterback. Daly's been good too, but this is a different beast. So I think Army's going to make it work. I hate picking against UTSA because I like them, but we're going Army. Even the dirty West Pointers, I can say that. But yeah, I'm going Army, and Trevor can say that shit too. To hell with West Point, but we're going Army. All right, Blake, who'd you pick? You picked UTSA, right?
The Roadrunners.
Yeah. All right, I had to make sure I got everything written down. Well, that's it for the pick'em, guys, and we'll look at what gridlocks next, and then we'll move into the conference rundowns. Kind of do the round robin style.
You ready to rock and roll with the gridlocks?
Yeah, let's bring them on up and look at what we did. Oh, look at that! Syracuse for Blake, Vanderbilt for Trevor, and I'm rocking with Arkansas. We're coming down the wire here. And well, real quick, I'll bring up the numbers just one last time.
Let's bring up the numbers since we're
6-6 on my gridlocks. Trevor's 5-7. Blake 3-9. He's been trying to play catch up though, so he's taking some flyers. man, what do you guys feel? I know we talked to Vandy. You think they're going to pull out the victory here? Trevor, Blake, Syracuse, you think they're going to do it?
It's possible.
I still think Vandy's got a good shot at it. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
Miami struggles. Miami struggles against high efficiency passing teams, and Syracuse can do it. I mean, Kyle McCourty's not, the greatest, but he is a good quarterback, and they've got the firepower to do it.
I think there's definitely an opportunity there. And even last week, Miami kind of had a slow start against Wake Forest. They can't let that happen against Syracuse. I know McCord's thrown 12 interceptions, but he's also thrown, I think, the most yards in college football this year. So you cannot let him get going. Defensively, though, for Syracuse, I wonder if they can stop, Restrepo and just Cam Ward. If they can just contain him, that's a tough task to do. Arkansas, on my end, I don't know, just like what they're capable of. I don't think they're the greatest team because they get in their way at a lot of times, but they have potential to screw seasons up. So that's what I'm riding with against Missouri, who I don't respect at all this year. So that's why I went with Arkansas. All right, next up, I think we're doing the conference rundown, correct? There's no other pictures? All right, let's hit it. So we'll do a quick thing on the group of five, just look at some of the games. And obviously, we talked about the Memphis game against Tulane. That's huge. Big battle throughout the group of five. That's going to tell a lot for playoff rankings as well. And then other games, you got Miami, Ohio versus Bowling Green. MAC action. Bowling Green looking to maybe go into the MAC championship. And then you got Liberty versus Sam Houston. Sam Houston took a beating last week. Can they rebound? Western Kentucky versus Jacksonville State. Other good game there. And then you're looking Texas State or South Alabama, some ones like that. Another one that I'm watching for is the Herd, old Marshall. They've got a good game here against JMU. I think they can win that game and take them down. So that's a couple games for the group of five that I'm looking at. And then we'll do let's move on to the ACC. Now we've got Stanford, San Jose State, Friday night game. So if, during this Thanksgiving break, you got something to do, you want something to do, watch some football. There's games going on right now. If you're, once you get done watching the show, a little bit of action. But when you're looking at the ACC, next one up, Georgia Tech, Blake mentioned this one versus Georgia, Friday night. Big game there. Georgia cannot slip. And then we mentioned South Carolina, Clemson, Louisville, Kentucky, Duke versus Wake Forest. Duke trying to get ranked. They need a win against Wake Forest. Pittsburgh and Boston College. Both teams are bowl eligible at this point. Pittsburgh's been sliding. I wonder what Boston College can do there with the new quarterback. I think they might win that one. Miami, we mentioned, versus Syracuse as a gridlock game. SMU cannot slip up against California. Absolutely cannot afford a loss. You are right on the edge of going to the ACC championship your first year in and a playoff. You guys, finish the game. Finish it out. NC State going up against North Carolina. North Carolina just got rid of Mac Brown. Interesting situation there. So I wonder if that will, give NC State a little bit of firepower. Virginia Tech, both battle of mid this year. Unfortunately, it's a shame how that played out. And am I forgetting one, boy? Oh yeah. Florida State versus Florida. Look at this, 2-9 Florida.
No, you didn't forget them. That's not even a real game.
Hey, Florida is 14.5 point favorites here. I don't think it's going to be close. I think they're going to probably steamroll them if they have an opportunity, and I think they have.
Florida's going to destroy Florida State.
I hope they do.
Absolutely.
I don't see Florida State finding a way here, boys. I don't see it at all. Lagway's been playing really nice, and this Florida team is what we did expect them to be strong, but they did finally get that bowl win, and they should get a 7th win here this weekend. Big 12 real quick. We'll move into that. Oklahoma State's got Colorado. That's a Friday night game. A lot of games during the week. Again, this is obviously Thanksgiving week, so good entertainment there for us. Utah, UCF. I told the guys on the cruise line, bet against Utah. Bet against them here too. UCF is 9.5 point favorites. I'm riding with them. I'm not a betting man, but that's what I would do. Kansas.
You're not a betting man, but you'll have everybody else bet for you.
Yes. Hey, listen. My wife would not like my money going to other places. All right, we're going to talk about Baylor, Kansas. Kansas has been on a tear. I know some people hate that school there, but Baylor, watch out because Kansas is on some crazy shit lately. Texas Tech, West Virginia, an interesting game. That's a pick'em game on ESPN. West Virginia has been looking squirrely. Texas Tech's had moments. I'm riding with Texas Tech. Arizona State's going to smack down Arizona, in my opinion. Watch me eat my words there. And then TCU, Cincinnati, Kansas State we mentioned versus Iowa State. And then BYU cannot slip up to Houston. They cannot do it. They still have a shot at the playoffs. But that's it for the Big 12.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this Big Ten action. Starting out on Friday, we got the most boring game known to man, Minnesota versus Wisconsin. Wisconsin's trying to grasp at a bowl eligibility, but they're not going to. Minnesota's going to win, and they will just relegate Wisconsin to the MAC. And then also on Friday we have actually a pretty interesting one in my opinion is Nebraska and Iowa, where I really think that Nebraska has the ability to beat Iowa, and I just really think that this is going to be a really good game. I think that Iowa being 6-point favorites is interesting because Nebraska did have a really good showing last week. And I just think Nebraska is going to really take it to Iowa, hopefully. Send them back to their cornfields or something. I don't know.
They're both children of the corn, baby.
Yeah,
that's just what they do.
Yeah. Anyway, Michigan, Ohio State been covered. The game best rivalry. See,
there you go.
Wow.
Look at
God,
you.
dig it.
You talk shit. Now you get what you get. All right. You get what you
Rival week. Whatever. I quit.
Say it again.
No, I'm not gonna say it again. Leave me alone.
All right. Sorry. Carry on.
No. I won't do it.
This is a rivalry game too. Illinois Northwestern.
Yeah, Illinois Northwestern. It should be a terrible game to watch, but I think Illinois will win this game handedly. The next game though is a game I'm praying that Maryland actually shows up. I'm just praying that they show up. All they got to do is really show up and play.
We all hope that.
Yeah.
Hey, all they need to do, 4 quarters, give Penn State one more loss, and will make me a happy man, and knock them straight out of the playoff. Because I really do.
Drop.
If they lose this game, it's over. They will not. They will go to. I want to lay a bowl down in wherever.
Never heard of that one.
I don't know. I'm just making stuff up.
My man's on demon mode.
I'm just making up stuff. And then the next one, also, come on, USC. I've never rooted for you in my life, but I swear, show up. Show up to this rivalry game. I said it right that time.
You did.
So yeah, the Notre Dame 7.5 got oh my God.
Listen.
Oh Lord, it's been a long day, man. It's been a long.
He's just been hating for so hard, so hard. He's hating. It's scrambling his mind.
My brain ain't working. Anyway,
7.5 point favorites for Notre Dame.
Oh yes, Notre Dame needs to lose, and USC will be the ones to do it. Let's see. We got Rutgers, Michigan State. Wow, I've never cared less for a game. Let's see. Fresno State, UCLA. Anyway, let's the next one. Purdue, Indiana. Man, this is getting worse.
Indiana cannot give Purdue a chance. I mean, they've been horrible all year. They can't do it.
They're gonna. They're gonna.
And Purdue, they've got one last thing left in them.
And then last but not least, the 6:30 game, Washington and Oregon. I mean, really, if Oregon has problems with this team, it's going to be a long playoff for them. Because I would venture to say that they would be out, right? If they lost this, they would just drop right straight out of the playoff, right?
I don't think so. When you look at everybody else's losses around them, I mean, Washington's not a bad team. They're not great, but they're on par with, say, losing to Arkansas.
Well, no, Oregon still has a way. Even if they lost, they would still have a way because they could win the Big Ten and be fine.
Yeah. So no,
so they're still away.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, that pretty much rounds out the Big Ten. There's a few interesting games, really a lot of hope and a prayer that chaos ensues. But yeah, especially with USC, Notre Dame, and Maryland and Penn State, 2 games I will be trying to watch in the afternoon for sure.
Oh yeah. Blake, SEC, and then we'll round it out.
So we've pretty much hit almost all but 2 SEC games. Got Tennessee at Vandy, South Carolina at Clemson, Louisville at Kentucky, Auburn at Bama, Florida at Florida State, Texas at Texas A&M. The 2 we didn't talk about, we got Arkansas at Missouri. I'm with you. I think Missouri, I have no respect for them. I heard Luther Burden's going to be the greatest receiver ever. He's nothing. You don't even know who he is anymore. No, Missouri's not good. I think Arkansas walks away with it. And then this one actually, I think is an interesting game. And I know Kiffin is pissed because it's another night game at LSU. I think they're 5th of the season. Oklahoma at LSU. It's an interesting game. I almost put it in our pick'em, but they're both just, I don't know. I'm tired of LSU. I'm tired of hearing about them. I hear enough about Brian Kelly. I've got some good memes coming out with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that's pretty much it in the SEC.
Yeah, I just had to bring my mic a little bit closer because it keeps coming into the comments that my mic is so far away. Like, what are you talking about? I don't know. Can you guys
sounded better than ever with it right close by? Like,
is that what you guys like? All right,
I like it real close, man. I like it.
Not only is that what we want, but that's what the fans need.
Do I need to start doing the lemon thing like I did? I'm not bringing the tongue out tonight.
That's some ASMR right there.
Yeah. So, well, maybe I'll adjust my mic setting a little bit more. Thank you, Logan. I appreciate you. No, the headset mic's not connected. It's just kind of there.
It's just an accent. It's just an accent.
Come on, baby.
It's all right, style, boys. Man. It's a style.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all we got. We appreciate all you guys watching. That's our preview and obviously our conversation about the live reaction to the top 25 from the College Football Committee. Guys, anything else round robin before we close it out tonight?
No, we've had the most viewers. We've had the most viewers we've had since starting these live shows. So we really appreciate everybody joining us tonight, and hope you guys all enjoyed it.
Yeah, listen, we appreciate you big time, Blake. We appreciate you, big boy. Look at what they're saying about you in there. You're smiling tonight. It's wonderful. All right, let's close it out. We'll see you guys around on the Sunday episode. God dang it. Either way, we'll see you guys later. I'm out.
All right, we'll see you guys Sunday.
All right.
Adios.
Hasta luego.